Hey guys, so thanks for getting on. This is awesome. Definitely a good turn on for such short notice. So I really appreciate it. So I'm going to start off again since some people weren't on. But Jesse Hollings and Jacob hit Success Club last month, so that's really awesome. Really proud of you guys. And Jessica has hit it this month already. Hit Success Club 5. And there was a lot of other people who were really close, so that's awesome. Just keep pushing for this month. Um, and there was a lot of rank advancements, and I don't have them all written down right now, but it was really crazy how many people hit Emerald, and Jessica and Samantha hit Diamond, so that's really awesome. That's why they're talking on the calls, because they're the leaders of the team so far. They've been in this with me since I started, so it's really awesome. So anyways, we were talking about inviting and I guess really just like starting conversations with people, because inviting is like a really confusing word. I hate that they use that word because it's like, what does that even mean? But you really just want to start conversations with people. I use the birthdays on Facebook for my conversations. I always start conversations with those people. I'll just say, happy birthday, how are you doing? Like catch up with what's going on in their life. But there's a ton of different ways for you to start conversations with other people. Like a lot of times you can just like, if you're scrolling through your newsfeed, which you probably shouldn't be because that's like a time consuming, like I hate doing that. It like drags me in. But if you are and you see something that catches your eye, or somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, I don't know, I'll just message them and be like, hey, that's really cool. Like Sam, I know she talks about how she messaged a girl and was like, I love your pink hair. You really pull that off great. And that started a conversation for her. Like, it's really cool because people are really watching you, whether you know it or not, or think that, like, if people are liking and commenting on your pictures or not, they really are watching you, and they're just waiting to see, like, if you're going to stick it out and, like, go through with this. Like, a lot of people fall out of Beachbody, so when you message them, it really opens the door for them to, like, ask you about it and see what it's all about. So that's what you really want to do, to invite. You never want to start a conversation just to invite them to your challenge group. You don't want to be like, hey, I have a challenge group coming up. If if you want more information, that's what your posts are about. Like, you want to post about it and ask people if they want to join to message you, but you never want to start a conversation like that, because people will be like, really? Like, there's just another salesperson. And that's like the huge difference between Beachbody and all the other companies, is like, we don't just like, I don't want us to be messaging people and being that annoying rap person. Like, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure everyone's got a message from them saying, hey, have you tried that crazy rap thing? And we've all been like, no. I mean, I know some people who've tried it and whatever. But anyways, you don't want to do that. Another thing that I wanted to like make a point about is like, when somebody says no, or I don't know, like if somebody ever says something mean or rude about the company or whatever, I don't want you to get mad about it. I don't want you to like say anything rude or whatever. If someone says no, not right now or whatever, just be like, it's okay, totally fine. You don't want people to like feel like they have to do something, and you always want to be able to go back to that person later and follow up with them, because that's what it's all about. You want to make a list of who you're talking to so that you can follow up with them, and whether they say no right now or not, that's not like a for sure no. Like, you can always go back to them and they'll always come back around, especially if you stick this out and stay consistent and they see that it's really working for you, and that you're not going to give up on it. Then they'll be there for you, like when they are ready later. And was there, oh yeah, when you're talking to people, you don't want to like give them paragraphs of information. You want to breadcrumb it to them and like really spoon feed them with information. Like, you don't want to, if you have like more than 4 sentences, you need to erase it and think of like some things that you can take out of it and put you know, like shorter things, like something that you could talk about later in the conversation, if that makes sense. Like you want them to be asking you more questions and not like being overwhelmed. When you tell somebody like a bunch of information, especially about like something they have no idea about, they're going to get overwhelmed with all of that information. They're going to be like, I'm not replying to her. So, so that's one thing. And what was the other thing that keeps people from replying to you? Can you think of anything, Sam, that I was talking about earlier?
Well, I don't think it was something you were talking about earlier, but I think I noticed something over the year and whatever I've been with Beachbody. But I feel like when if someone doesn't, hey, Julia, sorry, but when someone doesn't like respond to you, I mean, of course, I follow up with them a couple times, you know, like, hey, how have you been? Or, are you getting my messages? I even say that when I know that sounds like crazy because like chances are they are. But I don't want to be like, hey, how have you been? Hey, how have you been? Hey, how have you been? You know, you want to, because eventually that gets annoying. And back in the day, I've had people block me. And I think that's like a click in your head, like, okay, you are messaging that person way too many times. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm guilty of it. I've done it before to where someone has actually blocked me from Facebook. And I wasn't trying to be like overly, you know, like bugging them or anything, but they wanted in on it. They were so interested, and then out of nowhere, they just stopped messaging me back. So if they stop messaging you, just give them time and they'll come to you. But if you continue to like work at them and push them, they're just gonna eventually get so fed up with you, and we don't want that to happen at all.
Yeah, that's another good thing. I know that we had this message that was really good, that if you follow up with somebody over so many times and they still don't reply to you, I think Emma told me this, but you'll just say, hey, or no, Sarah said it. That's where I got it from. She says, hey, I know I've been bugging you about this, or I don't want to bug you about this. I'm just really passionate about our products, and I think that like it would be helpful for you. So if you really aren't interested, just let me know and I'll leave you alone. Or you can like make it up in your own words, but just something along those lines, so that you really just want to get a yes or no. I know that like that's what Alexa said. She says to follow up with them over and over, but I feel like if you like spread it out throughout the months, like if somebody's not replying to you over 3 times, like you would send that message and then move on, but keep them on your list and maybe follow up with them in like a year or like 6 months, you know, like give them a lot of time, because if they don't follow up the next time after that long of a break, then I would probably take them off my list. But I mean, like what happened with Sam, I'm sure if they really didn't want anything to do with it, they would probably delete you. But that's kind of crazy. I've never had that happen. But yeah, that's a good one. So I can't remember if there was anything else that we just talked about. Can you think of anything, Sam? I think it was just because we had that question. It was how long to wait to follow up with them. So I said to wait probably like I wait. It just really depends on how the conversation's going. You want to like wait like 3 days. Some people I wait like a week, or sometimes I put a month in advance. So there's another call that's called The Art of Forming, or no, not forming. The Art of Following Up, and that's from Alexa, and I will post that in the group. But it's really good about how to keep track of the people you're talking to, and that's super, super important. If you do that early on in the business, I promise it'll save you so much stress later on, because you really should be working from a list like at all times, and it's really helpful.
Yeah, and also, and a lot of times, like depending on where you're at in the conversation, if they say like, oh yeah, I'm really interested, I just want to, you know, wait till payday or wait till whatever, you can always ask them. If they just say wait and they're not specific and you want to know when to follow up with them, you can always ask them like, hey, well, okay, that's awesome, when's a good time to follow up with you? So then they're giving you a time, so you're not having to guess when it's a good time to follow up with them. They're giving you, oh, okay, maybe 2 weeks from now. So you can mark that down in your, however you track your follow-ups, you can mark that down. 2 weeks from now, message her about this, you know, see how she's doing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's definitely good too with like towards the end of the month and when you're really trying to like hit Success Club. You always want to have like a deadline kind of thing when you're talking to somebody and have urgency. I mean, I know that's kind of like a different subject, but yeah, you'll want to just be like, hey, like, I need you to sign up, like, in order to get your challenge pack, or yeah, your challenge pack at this date, I need you to sign up by this time. Like, can you do that? So that's another thing, but you always want to have like a date. I think that's really good to have a follow-up date. And then we talked about forming. That's just really to keep the conversation going. Like if you run out of things to say, you want to always ask about the person and just be really genuine. Like ask them about their family, their like what they do for a job. So it's family, occupation, recreation, and message. But you always want to build a relationship with somebody before you even bring Beachbody up. And most of the time, if you're consistent with your posts and stuff, most of the time they'll bring it up before you even have a chance to. So that's another thing with just talking to people. I think the main things is really just make sure you're not word vomiting on them, giving them too much information, because that like literally overwhelms people. They shut down and they don't want anything to do with the conversation. So always give them little bits of information and always make it about them. Like you don't want to, I feel like I've had this problem where like sometimes we start to talk about ourselves and like what we're doing with Beachbody, and you just want to tell people about it because it's awesome. You want to just be like, yeah, I'm doing Beachbody, like I've lost this much weight, blah, blah, blah. No, like you just really want to focus the conversation on them, and that will get you a lot farther. But just always ask questions at the end of your conversations or like the end of your messages. But yeah, I think that's really the main focus. Oh, and never get mad. I don't want you guys to ever be rude. Just always be really understanding, and personal development will help with that a lot too. But always, if they say no, just be like, okay, that's totally fine. You always want to make sure that you make them feel good about saying no, and not good about saying no, but like that they didn't do something wrong, that they can't talk to you again, just just be really understanding. So does anyone have any questions? Nope. Do you have anything to add, Jessica?
I was just reading what Amanda said. Amanda wrote a question in the chat, and she said, how do you reach out to strangers? I'm finding talking to friends and acquaintances is easier, but not sure how to find and steer a conversation with someone totally new. So for me, it depends on the stranger, like where you're finding this person. Like I'm not the type of person to just walk up to you in a store and be like, what's up? Let's talk about Beachbody. You know what I mean? Like in Instagram or Facebook, like even there's people that I went to high school with that I don't even know. So they're like a stranger to me. And they'll either, like add me on Facebook or reach out to me, or I'll reach out to them depending on like what they post, just like starting conversations. Instagram, I think, is easier because if you're like searching for hashtags or people are following you and liking your stuff, then you have something that you can reach out to them about and approach them and just start talking to them about their life. And they're going to see what you're posting or ask you questions about what you're doing eventually, if they're normal people, which usually they are. And then you can start talking to them about that. You can just bring it in, to what's your health like, what's your nutrition like. You just ask questions and probe a little bit and find out like where they are. Just like the same thing that you would do with your boyfriend, or what do you want to change about yourself, stuff like that, because that gets the conversation open and it gets them talking about what they need help with versus like what you can offer them with, because we can offer anybody anything. We just need to know what they need. So it just depends on how you want to approach that relationship and build on that relationship, because sometimes it's instant where somebody's like, hey, be my friend and I want to know what you're doing, let's do this. But usually it takes time. Yeah. So as long as you're in it for the relationship and not sale, they'll be there.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference, a huge difference.
I'm sorry, I didn't even see that question there, but it's a good question, because I know that was like really hard for me too. It's like when I started to think about who am I gonna message, like I don't know if you heard, but I do the birthday things. That's really good. It's like such an easy way to start a conversation. But when you are out of those and you don't know like who to talk to, honestly, I found that like that's like another subject, but like expanding your network. you have to find people that you have something in common with, because I found that like once you start a conversation with somebody like that you don't really know, or even I've tried to start conversations with people from high school that I like, didn't really talk to or whatever, but it really does like get really dry. Like there's no conversation there, because if you don't have anything in common, it's really like awkward. But there's so much, like think of like the little things about you or like about them that you have in common, and just always take that and run with it, kind of thing. Like I mean, I talk to people who I don't really have much in common with, but there's like one little thing, like my anxiety or something, and I will just take that and talk to them about it. But one thing about this is like kind of expanding your network kind of thing, but like I've joined a lot of groups on Facebook, and that's helped. And like Jessica said, the hashtags, because you can find people that you kind of like find somebody who's struggling with the same thing you're struggling with, or find somebody who likes the same thing that you like. That way you guys can talk about that, which will lead to more things and stuff like that. So, so yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think a big thing with this thing about how to talk to, like, bring up things to strangers is the biggest key for me is if you're posting consistently, chances of that coming up in your conversation is 100% more likely than if you're posting once every week, once every 2 weeks, once, even once a day. I mean, I know that sounds like crazy because you're like, oh, well, I'm posting once a day, but they might not see it when you post it once a day, like if you're posting 3 to 5 times a day, or, even 3 times a day just to start out with, chances of them bringing up what you're doing in a post or in a message is like 1,200 times more likely, because they're going to be like, oh yeah, or even if it's not like directly, oh, well, how do I do it? They'll even maybe just say like, oh, I've been seeing your progress. You're doing amazing. Keep it up. And they're not really asking you, but that's like perfect timing for you to bring it up in relating to them. Like, oh, that's awesome that you noticed it. It's helped me a lot, or, whatever. You can just relate it back to them because now that they've seen your post. But if you're not posting consistently, you're going to be having to do 12 times more work by reaching out to everyone and then explaining everything. But if you're posting consistently, they're going to know what you're doing already. And you're just kind of like summarizing it, like giving them a little more info instead of giving them all the info that they don't know because you didn't post about it.
Yeah, that's really true. And it's like, you can always just be like, oh yeah, that's, or thanks. How are you doing with your fitness? Or like, are you doing the same thing? Or like, what are you doing to stay healthy or whatever, and then like kind of loop it back to them. That helps a lot. That's really good. And that's why it's one of the vital behaviors. You should be posting 3 to 5 times a day. I think I just like remembered something and I forgot when you were talking.
And also as a new coach, I know like as a new coach with me, when I first started posting about like even just like motivational quotes or like posting, it might get discouraging like when you're first starting out and you're like posting and no one's liking anything, no one's commenting on it. And then you like kind of like stop posting, but don't be that person that stops posting, because I bet any money like the top coaches had that same experience where when they first started out, they weren't getting that many likes, they weren't getting that many comments, but they kept going because they knew that eventually it was going to pay off if they kept posting. And I've had people come to me from like years ago, or not years ago, but like a couple of years, like, or yeah, last year, and be like, oh, I saw your post from last year, and or I've been following your post from last year, and I think it's awesome. And they've never liked or commented on any of my photos, so you want to stay consistent, and eventually it'll pay off, even if they're not commenting and liking on it right then and there.
I really agree with that, because sometimes like some of my pictures will get a ton of likes, but you have to remember, if you're utilizing hashtags, don't hashtag things that are not relating. Like you can go on Google and like look at the hashtag of the day, and if it's like something like a dog or something, sure, people are going to like go to your picture and like your picture, but are you going to get people that are really interested in what you're doing and check your page out? Probably not. So like I like hashtag some general things, like I'm a mom, so I hashtag like mom life, healthy mom, and then I'll get like more specific with whatever my post is, or like quote of the day or quotes to live by. So I get people that like it, but like I would say maybe like 3 out of the 30 people that like my posts are just liking because they're scrolling through Instagram and just checking hashtags and liking. You'll have a ton of coaches that like your stuff, and that's fine because it's good. You're getting likes and you get attention and stuff, but they're just doing the same thing we're doing, and it's fine. But like a prime example of posting, I always post, like obviously I'm not going to post like if we go out to eat and I get like something horrible, I'm not going to post that and like make everybody healthy upset. So like today we did raw tacos, and I did the recipe because people like get so mad at me when I post my food. They like call me out on it when I post my food, like stuff we make, and I don't give them the recipe. So I've been posting my recipes again. So this one girl just liked it, and she said it looks delicious. And like interacting with her, I could just not say anything because she just said it looks good. Like obviously it's just food, it looks good. So instead of ignoring it like I used to, I just said it's so delicious. And then I tagged her name, and then I said, tag me if you make it. So like that's like telling her, hey, you should make this, and then if you make it, tag me and we can interact. You know what I mean? Without going out and saying, let's be friends, because you're just interacting with people, and that's all you really need to do at stage 1. You don't want to like overwhelm them. Okay. That's a prime example. Hold on.
Yeah, that's good. And that's something else. There's another call on that too about hashtagging and like just thinking of stuff that you like a lot of fitness people or like a lot of coaches will post like a lot of like clean eating and like fitness stuff, but if you can think of stuff like that has to do with you, like I will hashtag curly hair for me, and you know, like there's just little things that you can connect with people on, and it doesn't even matter how little or how stupid. I bet you with social media, how it is, like there's something going on with that, like on hashtags, and there's a group for it on Facebook. And if you just join those and just interact with people, it's really cool. You'll meet a lot of new people and just start talking to them. Really, it's like all about talking to people, and you don't want to like overcomplicate it, because I know that's how I was stuck for so long, because I was like, what am I going to talk about, and who am I going to message, and what does inviting mean? Like I remember inviting confused me for so long. So there's more on the call. Like I know Lauren did a call on it too, but I think a lot to do with it too is expanding your network, because I know once you start as a new coach and then you kind of like get through your warm market is what it's called, like the people you know, like your family, your friends and stuff that you talk to every day, and you'll like feel like you ran out of people to talk to about it. So expanding your network is really important too, but I think like the base is like talking to people about it. Another thing like I just thought of was that when you start talking to people about buying a program from you, like most coaches know, but some people don't. You always want to like it's way more valuable for them to get a challenge pack than to get just the program. Like I just know I just went over this with somebody, so I just wanted to like mention it. But like they're saving way more money in the long run, because eventually they're going to want to try Shakeology, because they're going to be doing the workouts, and then they're going to see people drinking Shakeology and they're going to want it. So if they get that, it'll save them money in the long run. And there's a 30-day money back guarantee, so there's no point in not trying it out. You know, like everyone, I mean, most people love Shakeology, and it's helped me, and I know it's helped like so many people. So always try to push that. Plus, that's where you get your Success Club points. And I don't know who all got on the wake up call this morning, but it was really good, and they talked about like like how important Shakeology is, and like knowing what it is. So I'm going to start posting more on the team page about like what Shakeology is and all the ingredients and what it can do for you, so that you can understand like what it's all about. But it's like really amazing. So you want to be able to explain it to your customers. And I know like at first you just know like it's a shake and it's amazing and it tastes good and it helps you feel good. So that's just like really important. I just thought of that because it was on the wake up call this morning. So yeah.
I remember when I started, people would be like, well, why is it good?
Yeah.
And what's in it? I'm like, it's just amazing. You just drink it, and I'll tell you later when I learn more. Like, honestly, I just feel like it just makes me feel so good. And then obviously you learn, but if you don't know what you're talking about, people can see through that. People will see through you, and they either will just like go for it because that's the type of person they are, or they will find somebody that knows what they're talking about and they will go to them. I use this example all the time, but you know Amanda Lagore, my hairdresser. So I met this girl. She was doing my hair, and she like asked me what I was doing, and I was working on Beachbody when I was getting my hair done, because I always work on Beachbody all the time. Yes, exactly. So I was getting my hair done, and we were just talking, and I didn't know this at the time, but she has her best friend is a coach, And like 2 of our other friends from back home are coaches. So after she signed up and did the 21-day fix with me, she then told me, this is a funny story. Guess what? Like 3 people really close to me in my life are coaches, and I chose you because you were so knowledgeable about like what I needed, and you knew exactly what program would be perfect for me, and you're so passionate, and you checked in with me. And it's like, that's what you have to do to succeed. You have to build relationships, get close with people, and really connect with them. And it's not going to happen with every person. There's people that I just like buy something from me and they act like they're all in, and then they're just like, poof, gone. So don't get discouraged with that. But it just goes to show you, if you're knowledgeable, like, and again, it takes time, but you just do your, there's news and training in the coach online office. There's stuff in the team calls. So read up on it, find out, like learn the different calories in Shakeology, like chocolate's more, Shakeology, or strawberries like 130. So people will ask you that, and it's nice when you can know it instead of, I mean, unless you're like typing, because then you just can look it up. But it's nice because if somebody's in your face and they're like, well, how many calories are in vegan chocolate Shakeology? And you're like, I don't know, let me find out. And that's fine if you're learning, you know what I mean? People will understand. But as you go on, try to self-train, because coach training isn't going to teach you that. You have to look and look it up for yourself. So that will really help you in the long run and be able to make you sound like you know what you're talking about. Like if you called customer service for your cell phone and you're like, how do I change my rate plan? And they're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So you want to know what you're talking about. So that's really good for self-training. And I think Sam, Amber, and I all did self-training in the beginning because we were all like, what do we do?
Yeah.
But you got to like think outside, because coach training isn't going to teach you like everyday realistic conversations.
Yeah.
So you have to think like that too. Think outside the box in that way.
Yeah.
And offer stuff in your post that talks about stuff. Yeah. It's good.
It's good. Definitely that you have to, like, I feel like the whole like conversation thing and like questions that people ask you, you'll learn that as you go for sure. And that's something that you can't really train, like talking to people and reaching out to strangers and stuff like that. That's something you have to just do and fail forward. For sure. Like you can't learn how to do that. You have to do it to get better. But Shakeology, if there's one thing that you're going to be studying and learning about, it's going to be Shakeology, because it's so like, there's a lot of ingredients in it. There's tons of superfoods. It's really good for you for so many different reasons. And it helps a lot of different people with different things. And like there's a Shakeology YouTube channel, and I really suggest that you go on there and just listen to some of the videos. There's a website. There's so many ways to learn about Shakeology. It's in the back office. But you definitely want to research Shakeology so you know about it, because people will take you more seriously. And just like Jessica said, I've had so many people be like, what is the difference between that and a regular protein shake? Like, why can't I just go to GMC and buy a protein shake? There's a huge difference. You can't get all that stuff in Shakeology, and like it's completely natural. So I don't know. You definitely just want to know that. And mainly because that's literally like the basis, the base of our business. Like if you're building your business, so you have to sell Shakeology to get Success Club points. And if you're not getting, or when you're getting Success Club points every month and you're hitting Success Club 5, that is going to build your business, to build your income, to, you know, that's just how you're going to keep growing. So that's just like really important. If you learn Shakeology, what it's all about, and then and yeah, so
yeah. And I think also you can use, like, maybe not exactly like while you're learning the, you know, the like scientific stuff and like all the legit stuff, also using other people on the team's success stories with what it's helped them with. I know like Emma, it helped her with depression. It helped Lauren with PCOS. So it's like if I'm talking to someone who says they struggle with PCOS or who struggles with depression, like I make sure I bring that up, like that my coach, you know, struggled with that too, or that my one of my fellow coaches did this and it helped her with that. You know, you want to get to know people's stories on the team, because a lot of people, it's helped them with you know, someone said like it helped them conceive, and they couldn't conceive, and then they started drinking it regularly, and then they got pregnant. And it's like, you want to know these little things, because you might be talking to someone who's like, oh, well, is it going to stop me from getting pregnant? I'm really trying. And if you go, well, maybe, let me check, that's going to throw them off right away. Because if they're really trying and you say, maybe, let me check, like they're going to be like, no, even if she does come back with a no, I'm not going to do it. So
Yeah.
even hearing success stories from other people is going to help a lot until you really get to know, like, unless you can, even when you do know, I still use those, you know, and I know like a lot about it. I still use success stories because people want to know how it's helped other people. And when they hear other people's success stories, it makes them want to do it even more because they know it actually helps someone.
Yeah, that's very true. Like some people, I think there are different people. Like some people are like, I want to know how it's like what it's done for people, and some people want to know like the facts, like what is in it, what am I drinking, you know, like there are two different people. Or, you know, some of them want to know everything, but it's really good to just know that because that's just a huge part of our business. But so yeah.
Something you can do when you're learning too is if you do if you talk to people on your phone, which it's like 2015, of course we do, but phone and computer, you can bookmark specific coach FAQs, like for programs, like program information or Shakeology ingredients and stuff. So you can have like a fast track to get this information as you're learning. Because if somebody asks you a question, like I still to this day, like there's a girl in my challenge group, Megan, who has colitis, and I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea. So I just Googled Shakeology and colitis, and I found millions of stories about success rates, and I just told her about it. I sent her a few links. I'm like, I don't know these people personally, but they're coaches, so, you know, we're all like a team. Check this out and let me know what you think. Although I would start you off with a half a scoop because I read about what colitis was. It's like really bad. It's like IBS, but worse, I guess. I don't know. It sucks. I feel so bad for it. But so huge success rate. So she's been drinking for 2 weeks. She got it. She obviously read the links. And she has not felt better in like 3 years or something, she said. So that's another success story that I can use for other people with similar things that are wrong. But you know what I mean? Like you have to just like think on your toes. Don't take forever. Just look up anything that you need to know, because you, like we all said, you're not going to learn it overnight. And I just learned that last week. So, or whenever I signed her up, I was in New York. So, but you learn as you go, and you'll find people with every disease that you can think of. Like I had like an autoimmune disease that Shakeology helped me with. I can't label it, but I know it's helped people with lupus, and it's helped people conceive, and it's helped with postpartum depression and tons of stuff. You just, you know, and if you don't know anybody personally on the team, Google that shit, pardon me, because you will find it. And somebody will have a success story with whatever you need. So don't be afraid to just utilize Google. And if they ask where you found it, be like, oh, it's just, you know, we have we have it saved. You don't have to plug your ears. I said a bad word, then covered your ears.
That's cute. But
think of your outside resources is the point. Just, you know, bookmark it, ask us, text us, message us, whatever.
yeah.
Because that'll benefit you too.
Okay, so we have 3 minutes left. So does anyone have any questions really quick? No? I hope this helped everyone. If you do have any questions after the call, don't forget to just comment on or post on the team page or whatever. You know, you can always ask questions. But thank you guys so much for getting on, especially Vanessa. She's been on for a whole, hour?
Over an hour.
Over an hour, yeah. So that's awesome. I hope you learned a lot. Even though I was like going over stuff like twice. But yeah, so.
And then also, when you're done recording, if you want to hop on again, I know Vanessa's going to Summit. So if you're not going to Summit, make it happen. Vanessa's only been a coach for like not even a little, like maybe a little over a month, because I think it was like the end of the month before last month, and she's going to Summit. So like you have to have it, like make it happen. It's definitely gonna be.
Yeah.
I haven't gone. This will be my first one too. But I'm so excited because I know that people come back and I like change. It's like a whole new game after that. So.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thanks for mentioning that. I forgot to say that. But yeah, there's no excuse. Get to Summit. It's going to like change our business. So excited to see everyone. It's going to be fun. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording and